This page features the cover of a Nintendo Power magazine with 0x as the main highlight, promising a fast track to the future. It also teases an exclusive Zelda update. N64 reviews include Gex 64, Enter the Gecko, Cruisin' World, Blitz, and Knife Edge. Power previews feature Wipeout 64, NASCAR 99, and Winback. The next page promotes Nintendo Power magazine. It features Banjo, Kazooie, and Conker playing guitars. The text highlights the magazine's content, including strategies, secret codes, and tips for Nintendo games. It mentions games like Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr., 0x, 12 Tales, Conker 64, and The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, emphasizing the value of a Nintendo Power subscription for staying up to date on the latest Nintendo games. This page is an advertisement for Bomberman Hero on the Nintendo 64. It showcases screenshots of the game and emphasizes its seek and destroy adventure across 5 new worlds with 60 levels. The tagline is, "Explore new worlds, then blow them up." The ad also features the Nintendo 64 logo and rating from the ESRB. This page is the contents page for Volume 112 September 1998 issue. The cover stories are F0X for Nintendo 64, Gex 64, Enter the Gecko, and Bomberman Hero Part 2. There are also strategy guides for Mission, Impossible, Cruisin' World, Blitz, Knife Edge, and Deadly Arts. Special features include The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Wipeout 64, NASCAR 99 Test Drive, and Winback. The Every Issue section contains regular segments, such as Player's Pulse, Classified Information, Player's Poll Contest, Counselor's Corner, Arena, Now Playing, Pack Watch, Next Issue, and Game List. The page also teases the second episode of Pokemon Power. The next page is the Player's Pulse section, featuring readers' opinions and artwork related to Nintendo games. The first segment contains letters discussing the lyrics of the Yoshi's Story Song, with readers debating what the Yoshis are actually saying. Several readers chime in with their interpretations of the lyrics. Artwork includes fan-created drawings related to Street Fighter, Banjo-Kazooie, The Legend of Zelda, and Mortal Kombat 4. There's a discussion about whether the Game Boy camera can connect to a real printer. Stephen Danneman predicts a sequel to Mortal Kombat 4, pointing out a possible hint in the game's credits. A reader, Nigel Lowry, discusses a bet about whether the film The Wizard was released before Super Mario Bros. 3. Zach Kaplan wonders whether Kazooie plays a kazoo in the intro to Banjo-Kazooie, and the magazine confirms that she does. This page features power charts for the top Nintendo 64, Super NES, and Game Boy games. GoldenEye 007 holds the top spot on the Nintendo 64, followed by Banjo-Kazooie and Super Mario 64. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past leads the Super NES chart, with Super Mario RPG and Donkey Kong Country 3. Dixie Kong's Double Trouble rounding out the top 3. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening is number 1 on the Game Boy list. The page includes reader letters discussing Banjo-Kazooie, with opinions on the game's graphics and gameplay. One reader describes playing the game for 13 straight hours. There's also a comment about Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie resembling Posh Spice. The page provides phone numbers for Nintendo Power subscriptions and game counselors, as well as a power line for pre-recorded game tips. Finally, it has the Nintendo Power website and email address. There is also a section called Right Away, about racing games, asking readers for their opinions. This page is dedicated to F0X for the Nintendo 64, highlighting its intense racing action and various gameplay modes. It describes the Grand Prix, Time Attack, Death Race, and Versus battle options, detailing how each mode works and what makes it unique. The page emphasizes the game's speed and challenge, and notes that up to 4 players can compete head-to-head. Screenshots illustrate the different modes and racing environments. There are brief descriptions of the game's mechanics, such as rival drivers who are replaced in your rank position, and information on how to knock opponents off the track in Death Race mode. The next page delves into the machines of 0x, explaining how each one has attributes like weight, grip, boost, and body strength that affect performance. It shows the grading system from a TE for these attributes. There are 3 rows of machines that can be unlocked, each with its own pilot, machine name, weight, and grades for body, boost, and grip. The first row features starting machines like Blue Falcon, Golden Fox, Wild Goose, Fire Stingray, White Cat, and Red Gazelle. Row 2 is unlocked by winning cup circuits, showcasing machines like Iron Tiger, Deep Claw, Crazy Bear, Great Star, Big Fang, and Mad Wolf. Row 3 becomes available after winning each cup circuit or all 3 skill levels of the Queen Cup, including machines such as Night Thunder, Twin Norita, Wonder Wasp, Queen Meteor, Bloodhawk, and Astro Robin. The page also touches on balancing acceleration and max speed before races. This page showcases Row 4 and Row 5 of the Zero X machine roster, detailing how to unlock them, either by winning cups or completing every level of the Joker Cup. Row 4 includes machines like James McCloud's Little Wyvern, Zoda's Death Anchor, Michael Chain's Wild Boar, Super Arrow's King Meteor, Kate Allen's Super Piranha, and Roger Buster's Mighty Hurricane. Row 5 features Leon's Space Angler, Drang's Mighty Typhoon, Beastman's Hyperspeeder, Antonio Guster's Green Panther, Black Shadow's Black Bull, and the Skull's Sonic Phantom. The page also includes track tips for the Jack Cup, covering courses like Mute City, Silence, and Sand Ocean, providing advice on boosting and navigating tricky sections of the tracks. A section titled, You're Boosted, explains how boost power accumulates after each lap and best practices for using boosts effectively. This page presents detailed track maps and racing tips for Zero X, focusing on courses from the Queen Cup. The tracks covered include Devil's Forest, Sector Alpha, Red Canyon, Big Blue, Port Town, and Devil's Forest 2. The tips provide guidance on navigating tricky turns, utilizing dash arrows, and avoiding hazards to maintain speed and energy. It also includes Health Watch, with advice about dangers and crashing. There are also tips for boosting and power strips. This page continues the Zero X track guide, now focusing on the King Cup and Sector B. It features detailed maps and tips for Mute City 2, Big Blue 2, White Land, Silence 2, Firefield, and Sector B, including information about banking maneuvers, boost usage, and navigating dangerous sections of the tracks. There's also a section called Dash Do's and Don'ts, offering advice on maximizing boost and dash opportunities. The next page covers tracks for Zero X, detailing the Joker Cup, which unlocks after completing the Jack, Queen, and King Cups. It provides course maps and tips for Red Canyon 2, Mute City 3, White Land, Devil's Forest 3, and Rainbow Road. The guide offers advice on banking, boost usage, and avoiding obstacles, along with a flight plans section on aerial maneuvers and a regular checkups section about opponent awareness. There are also images of characters and in-game action. This page offers a strategic guide to various tracks in F-Zero X. It includes detailed course maps and tips for navigating Spaceplant, Sand Ocean 2, Port Town 2, and Big Hand. The guide emphasizes the importance of boosting at the right times, mastering sharp turns, and staying on track, especially on hazardous sections of the courses. The guide also highlights the X Cup and its unique challenges, and explains the Trophy Challenge, encouraging players to win every cup with every machine. It also covers battle moves, such as sideswipes and spin attacks, and a guide on how to earn stars and extra racing life. This page is a guide for N64. Enter the Gecko, detailing how to navigate the game. The guide introduces Gex, a TV-loving lizard, who parodies various TV shows and films like James Bond, Indiana Jones, and The X-Files. It describes how to use Gex's tail for high jumps and enemy attacks, and the importance of collecting items related to the TV show theme of each level. It also explains the TV dinners, which act as checkpoints and power-ups, and the red remote controls needed to unlock areas. The page highlights different areas and levels, such as Jek, Cousteau, Frankensteinfeld, and Pain in the Asteroids, and offers gameplay tips like breaking objects to find collectibles, and using power-ups effectively. The next page continues the N64. Enter the Gecko Guide, providing specific tips for different missions and hidden remotes within the game. It covers areas like Jek Cousteau, Frankensteinfeld, Mao Tse-tung, Out of Tutun, and www.com.com, giving instructions on how to overcome obstacles, find collectibles, activate hidden elements, and defeat bosses. For example, it advises riding turtle taxis to avoid sharks, using geysers to reach collectibles, and tail-whipping walls to uncover power-ups. The guide also offers strategies for boss battles and finding hidden remotes in various levels. This page provides a guide for the game Gex 64, Enter the Gecko. It details strategies and tips for various levels, including The Umpire Strikes Out, This Old Cave, Honey, I Shrunk the Gecko, and Pangaea 90,210. The guide offers instructions on how to overcome obstacles, find hidden remotes, and defeat bosses in each area. For instance, it describes scaling platforms, using trampolines, and avoiding enemy attacks.
It concludes with tips for the Gexzilla vs. Masharez boss battle.
This page continues the guide for N64. Enter the Gecko, moving into Area 5, Pain in the Asteroids, and Samurai Night Fever, and Area 6, titled No Weddings and a Funeral. It provides mission objectives and tips for finding hidden remotes. The guide then details strategies for the final boss, Channel Z, with instructions on dodging attacks and exploiting weaknesses. Finally, the page gives a brief description of the game's bonus areas and highlights the differences between the N64 version and other platform versions. The next page is packed with cheat codes for various games. The highlight is Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr., offering codes for a home run, a batter's dance, unusual pitching animations, flying fielders, batter blow-ups, and even fireworks. There are also codes for the game All-Star Baseball for Alien Abduction Mode, where the home team will have the same stats as the team you picked originally, but they'll look like aliens. Additionally, NBA Courtside features a code for big player heads, and Rampage World Tour has codes for eating bonuses, changing bad food to good food, level skipping, and removing bad food. This page features cheat codes and secrets for various games. Mike Piazza's Strike Zone has codes for easy homers, extra speed, and accessing a hidden stadium, and crazy pitches. Top Gear Rally includes a code for mirror cars. Mortal Kombat 4 features a list of combat codes, which players enter on the Versus screen to unlock special effects like free weapons, silent combat, explosive combat, and fights in different arenas, with instructions on how to enter the codes. Weetrix includes tips for gaining access to hidden game boards. There is also contact information for sending Nintendo Power Cool codes and tips. The next page offers tips and tactics for Bomberman Hero on Planet Canadia, specifically Area 1, Lavana Volcano. The guide covers various sub-areas like Hades Crater, Magma Lake, Magma Dam, Crystal Hole, and Emerald Tube,
providing strategies and screenshots to help players navigate the levels, beat enemies, and achieve high scores.
The tips include using the bomber copter, replenishing energy, and collecting treasures like rainbow diamonds and gold diamonds. This page provides strategies for Area 2, Death Pyramid, in Bomberman Hero. It details the 6 sub-areas: Death Temple, Death Road, Death Garden, Float Zone, Aqua Tank, and Versus Nitros. Tips include blasting switches in Aqua Tank, using bubbles in Float Zone, and defeating enemies in Death Road to reach high scores. The page also mentions the Bomber Marine for Aquaway, and how to defeat Nitros by destroying force field towers. The next page focuses on Area 3, Canadia Shrine, and Area 1, Louie's Jungle from Bomberman Hero, offering strategies and tips for several sub-areas.
For Canadia Shrine, it covers Hard Coaster, Dark Maze, Mad Coaster, Move Stone, and the boss fight against Bourbon, including advice on avoiding quicksand, using salt bombs, and exploiting Bourbon's weak spot. For Louie's Jungle, it covers Hopperland, Junna Falls, and Freeze Lake, including using Louie to traverse Hopperland, exercising caution in Junna Falls, and collecting treasures in Freeze Lake. Several screenshots display level layouts and gameplay. This page covers Area 2, Slush Mountains from Bomberman Hero, detailing strategies for Snowland, Heaven Sky, Ice Snake, Storm Valley, and Snow Circuit. Snowland is a maze where players must navigate slippery surfaces and snowmen. Heaven Sky involves flying through a dangerous corridor using the bomber jet. Ice Snake features enemies in the sky on a rainbow road. Storm Valley tasks players with wall jumping and stomping on screws. Snow Circuit is a bomber slider stage similar to the Emerald Tube, where players must spin their board into foes. Screenshots accompany the descriptions for each level. The next page delves into Area 3, Mazone Dome in Bomberman Hero, breaking down each room, including Nitros, Mirror Room, Natia, Air Room, Zero Big Room, and Bonus Stage. Strategies are provided for defeating bosses like Nitros, who can be stunned with thrown bombs. The Mirror Room is highlighted as a challenging puzzle, requiring item collection and crate breaking. For the Nacha fight, the focus is on Cronus, Nacha's pet,
before dealing with Nacha herself. The air room involves collecting items while avoiding pitfalls, while the 0G room utilizes gravity-defying jumps. The bonus stage involves precise timing with rocket platforms. The page also hints at future plot developments involving Princess Million and the Garadan Empire. The next page focuses on Mission Impossible for the Nintendo 64. Specifically, the impossible difficulty setting. The page highlights new objectives and changes in stages within the embassy, warehouse, Lundquist base, subpen, and KGB HQ areas. Key objectives include finding the facemaker and score in the embassy, obtaining a protection suit in the warehouse, destroying the electric power panel in Lundquist base, finding magnetic mines in the subpen, and securing the exit pass card in KGB HQ. The page also provides tips for using the beepers as a distraction and making a toast to poison the ambassador's aide. Earning codes is mentioned, which unlock special weapons like the 9mm, silenced gun, Uzi, and rocket launcher. The next page continues with Mission Impossible on Nintendo 64, offering tips for the security hallway, sewage control, and fire alarm stages. It details objectives like securing passage for Candace and activating the master switch in the security hallway, finding the supercomputer, and escaping the sewage control. The fire alarm stage covers securing access to the lift, finding Jack, dressing as a fireman, giving Candace the fireman outfit, and escaping the embassy. The right side of the page is an advertisement for officially licensed Nintendo collectibles, including beanbag collectibles, keychains, action figures, and interactive plush characters. It promotes various Nintendo characters like Mario, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Bowser, and Banjo-Kazooie. A note encourages readers to collect them soon. This page is an exclusive look into the making of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. It discusses the game's development, with information and screenshots from Mr. Miyamoto's team. The article covers Link's first meeting with Zelda, Zelda's premonitions, and the sages building the Temple of Time. It also touches on time travel mechanics, revealing that the Master Sword, not the Ocarina, is responsible for Link's time alterations. Young Link collects the Kokiri's Jade, Goron's Ruby, and Zora's Sapphire, then travels 7 years into the future, where he must restore the gems and face new challenges, like Death Mountain becoming an erupting volcano ruled by a dragon. The haunted Hyrule Graveyard, haunted by Poe, and the dreaded Re-Dead, also features. The page shows screenshots of Link facing off against Twinnerova, the ancient witches, and other enemies. This page delves further into The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, with a focus on its puzzles, Epona, and the Master Sword combat. The Puzzling Picks section highlights the hedge mazes inside Hyrule Castle, requiring stealth to avoid guards and solve block-pushing puzzles. It also mentions the mysterious Sheik. The Galloping Gallery covers Link's first encounter with Epona at Lon Lon Ranch and mentions Talon, Malon, and Ingo. It teases the future shadow of Ganondorf over Hyrule. The segment also humorously acknowledges the chicken's similarities to those in A Link to the Past. Him. The Masterful Moves section highlights Link's Master Sword techniques, including the swing cut and beam attack, and explains how the magic meter affects these moves. A final section titled More Links to Come has Ganondorf pledging loyalty to the King of Hyrule while secretly plotting against him. The game is in bug testing, with Nintendo Power preparing articles and a player's guide. The text next to the cutscene image is Japanese. This page gives a breakdown of Cruisin' World, including details on its 3 modes: Cruise the World, Championship, and Practice, each offering different racing experiences and challenges. The page also uncovers a world of secrets within the game and lists methods for earning style points to upgrade your ride, along with details on unlocking hidden tracks and cars. The next page breaks down the various levels in Cruisin' World, showcasing Germany, Hawaii, Egypt, and New York. For each, there's a track map, gameplay tips, and a sneak peek at the hidden vehicle you can unlock. The hidden vehicles range from a classic NY taxi in Germany to a school bus in Egypt. Each level offers different challenges, from mastering jumps in Germany to navigating sharp turns in Egypt and the narrow streets of New York. The magazine gives advice on how to navigate each track and what the best places are for pulling off tricks. This page details more Cruisin' World levels, including England, Kenya, France, and Italy. Each section features a track map, gameplay tips, and a look at the hidden vehicle for each location. In England, the hidden vehicle is a classic black cab, while Kenya features a double-decker bus. France has a Mini Cooper-esque car called Tommy, and Italy has no hidden car. The magazine offers advice on navigating each track, highlighting tricky spots, and how to best use nitro boosts. The next page covers more levels in Cruisin' World. China's course runs atop the Great Wall, with tips to avoid crashes. The hidden vehicle is the Enforcer police car. Mexico's track features in-can ruins and jungle turns, with the Howler van as the hidden vehicle. Australia's bumpy course is tough, with the surgeon ambulance hidden. Russia features a rough course with red brick streets and the hidden exec car. Japan has bank turns reminiscent of the German course, with the rocket car hidden. The page also touches on a cruisin' secret in the game, and how to unlock automatic mega flips. Finally, it describes the overall value of Cruisin' World, with varied gameplay and hidden cars. This page features Wipeout 64, previewing the futuristic racing game for the N64. The article highlights the game's development, emphasizing it's a new experience despite the familiar name. It introduces anti-grav rides that mentions the 4 racing classes: Vector, Venom, Rapier, and Phantom, each catering to different skill levels. Hostile takeovers notes the corporate sponsors influencing ship designs. Lock and Load details the game's weapon system. The page shows in-game screenshots and a character design. The next page focuses on Wipeout 64's tracks and multiplayer features. It showcases 6 different tracks: Clyde's Bridge, Coron IV, Socana, Dyronus, Machone 2, and Terrafumos. Each track description highlights its unique challenges and visual style. Multiplayer mode supports up to 4 players via split screen. A developer interview discusses the game's development for the N64, praising its precise control, emphasizing it's a new game with new content instead of a port. It mentions the soundtrack featuring techno bands like Fluke and the Propellerheads. The page also mentions a hidden track and ship. This page reviews Blitz for the N64, describing it as an over-the-top arcade-style football game with outrageous fun. The reviewer compares it favorably to past video football games, highlighting the exaggerated action and strategic gameplay elements. It mentions the new play editor feature. The page also details the game's arcade and season modes and fun codes. The page features screenshots of the game and information about accessing hidden characters via pin codes. The next page details offensive and defensive formations in Blitz for the N64. It lists and illustrates various offensive plays like uppercut, turmoil, and HB block, explaining when and how to use them effectively. Defensive formations such as man cover, med zone, and blitz strategies are also described. The page includes a top 5 ranking for passing, rushing, linemen, and defense, plus a top 5 special teams list. This page focuses on strategies and special moves for Blitz on the Nintendo 64. It details offensive moves like the spin move, stiff arm, and dive forward, alongside defensive strategies such as hiding the cursor, punt returns, and manual tackles. It also covers tactics like using the clock, jump passes, extra points, and onside kicks. The page also touches on gameplay enhancements, like using the size screen and shift screen options in the play editor feature. The next page is dedicated to Kemco's Knife Edge for the Nintendo 64, a rail shooter where players focus on shooting enemies rather than steering. The page highlights the game's multiple paths through its 6 stages and the player's arsenal, including a rapid-fire Vulcan gun and 5 special weapons. The game modes are Story, Team, Battle, and Practice. There's a section on special weapons that includes homing missiles, plasma torpedoes, nukes, flaks, and lasers. The page also describes the Riding the Rails gameplay, comparing it to a roller coaster ride filled with enemies. This page continues the coverage of Knife Edge for the Nintendo 64, offering strategy tips for different sections of the game. In Amethyst Ravine, the focus is on defeating mini-bosses and final bosses, with advice on using the Vulcan gun and special weapons. The Living Ruins section offers information on enemies hiding in doorways and alleys. Tips are provided for specific areas, like Canyon Run, Mech Threat, Urban Assault, Tanks-a-Lot, A River Runs Through It, Crack the Whip, Underground, and Star-Crossed, detailing enemy behaviors and effective tactics. The next page continues with strategy tips for Knife Edge on the Nintendo 64, focusing on the Crimson Lake and The Shrine Without the Master levels. For Crimson Lake, it details how to enter the asteroid, defeat a mini-boss tank by aiming for its upper hull, and navigate lava falls and Siege Perilous. In The Shrine Without the Master, the guide covers dodging proximity bombs, fighting dog-like droids, and navigating narrow tunnels with stone-faced enemies. This page provides strategy tips for the Creature Return to Space Station level in Knife Edge on the Nintendo 64. It details how to navigate through boulder battles, command ships, and mortal monuments. It advises using plasma torpedoes against enemy ships, focusing fire on specific parts of the command ship, and using nukes on statues. The guide also covers man-traps, navigating into the light, and the final conflict, suggesting tactics like dodging and targeting the alien leader's weak points. The page concludes with a short review of Knife Edge, comparing it to gunnery stages in Shadows of the Empire. The next page is a competition page titled Players Poll Contest. It features the chance to win a trip to Hawaii and play golf at Waialae Country Club. The grand prize includes a set of tailor-made golf clubs and a lesson from a golf pro. Other prizes include tailor-made putters, golf caps, Nintendo Sports golf balls, and Nintendo Power t-shirts. The page details how to enter the contest and provides official contest rules. It also promotes the Waialae Country Club, true golf classics for the N64 game. This page is part of a Counselor's Corner, offering tips and tricks for various games on the Nintendo 64. The first section tackles Duke Nukem 64, addressing why the shrinker ray might not be working correctly due to a cheat code issue, providing instructions on how to fix it, including directions to find the secret places. The second segment focuses on Quest 64, advising players on how to escape the Isle of Skye and how to open a gate in Connor Forest, with magic-level recommendations and strategies for defeating a brigand, including advice on defeating Fargo and Boilhole and how to get the Fire Ruby. This page is a collection of tips and tricks for various games. It starts with Banjo-Kazooie, explaining how to unlock Banjo-Tooie previews and how to get inside Naughty's house and obtain the honeycomb piece beneath the ice. Next up is Final Fantasy Adventure, with advice on exiting Dark Castle and how to defeat Julius by using keys wisely and countering his attacks. Finally, there's a Q&A section featuring Kobe Bryant in NBA Courtside, Aero Gauge, and All-Star Baseball 99 GB, answering common player questions about breaking the backboard, performing alley-oop passes, turbo starts, and selecting teams. The next page is an advertisement for NASCAR 99 on the N64. It showcases the game's focus on American motorsports, highlighting speed and realistic graphics. The advertisement emphasizes the game's attention to detail, with licensed cars and drivers, accurate track representation, and various gameplay options. It features screenshots and commentary that emphasize the game's realism, including the effects of speed, drafting, and virtual effects, like tire marks. The ad also mentions adjustable settings, like race length percentage, damage settings, and AI configurations, along with options for MPH or KPH displays. This page dives into the details of NASCAR 99 for the N64. It highlights the different car models available like Chevys, Fords, and Pontiacs. The game features customization options for transmission, rear spoiler, wedge, tire pressure, and gear ratios, affecting speed, acceleration, handling, and pit distance. The page also focuses on crashes, saying that NASCAR 99 captures realistic wrecks. Drivers can flip, roll, lose parts, puncture tires, and blow engines. The tracks are divided into oval and road courses, including Watkins Glen and Sears Point. Additionally, the page touches upon the driven aspect, highlighting drivers at speeds nearing 200 miles per hour. There is a driver info option to check out drivers and their cars, and highlights from the 1997 season. The advert closes by saying the game is focused on American motorsport and realism. This page is about the game Deadly Arts for the Nintendo 64. It features the characters, their moves, and some insight into how they play. The page also discusses the game's unique elements, such as interactive environments and a character edit mode. The game features 1 and 2 player battles, team battle, tag battle, customizable characters, and Rumble Pack compatibility. The game has 8 main fighters, plus additional boss characters. The next page is dedicated to deadly arts for the Nintendo 64. It emphasizes the Create a Fighter feature, allowing players to customize their characters extensively, from appearance to fighting style, that can be trained and entered into battle mode. It also touches on training mode, where players can learn special moves from instructors and then pit their customized fighters against others in either the deadly arts competition or in two-player battles via controller packs. Interactive arenas with breakable barriers and obstacles are highlighted, adding another layer to the fights. The point system goes beyond just life points and rewards technical and special points. Penalties are given for not being aggressive enough. The page features screenshots of the game in action, as well as pictures of the boss characters Goriki and Reiji. It also lists and highlights the main character categories: powerhouses, grapplers, and speedsters, and notes the advantage of customizing a team to exploit their weaknesses. Characters Kongo, Sakai, Kai, Kaoru, Kyoya, Miki, Serena, and Azami are mentioned. This page previews Winback for the Nintendo 64, describing it as a departure for Koei, known for strategy and RPGs. It highlights the game's plot involving terrorists who've taken control of a weapons satellite and Jean-Luc Cougar, the commando tasked with stopping them. It also introduces Kenneth Coleman and Cecile Carlyle of the Crying Lions. The article focuses on the gameplay, combining stealth and action. It emphasizes the game's 90 rooms containing oil drums, helicopters, train cars, and 18-wheelers. The enemy's AI is mentioned as being like GoldenEye 007, where they react to sound and sight. The next page continues with Winback for the Nintendo 64, discussing characters like Bad Luck, Leela, a female terrorist, and Jin, an assassin. It also details gameplay mechanics, like aiming with precision, where head and limb shots cause specific reactions. The multiplayer mode is mentioned, featuring one-on-one shootouts and Capture the Flag. Screenshots of the game are included, highlighting its early stage of development. This page features a section titled Arena, the Challenges, which highlights various gaming challenges across different platforms. For Banjo-Kazooie, players are tasked with a Bubble Gloop Swamp Challenge in Mr. Vile's Eating Contest. Rampage World Tour challenges players to cause destruction with George, Lizzie, or Ralph. There is also a challenge related to the re-release of the Super NES version of F-Zero. A Try This section presents a Banjo-Kazooie scavenger hunt in Rusty Bucket Bay, with questions related to the area's details. There's a What's My Line quiz, testing players' knowledge of catchphrases from N64 games. The NP scoreboard displays high scores for Star Fox 64 and San Francisco Rush. Challenges are presented for Diddy Kong Racing and GoldenEye 007. Finally, the page includes info about how to submit challenge ideas and photos, and provides answers to the previous volume's puzzles and challenges. The high scores list mention players such as Chris Warren, Michael Damiani, and Robert Coulson. This page features reviews for Zero X, Blitz, and Cruisin' World, all for the Nintendo 64. F-Zero X is praised for its speed and futuristic graphics, getting an overall rating of 8.0. Blitz, a football game, earns an 8.2 rating, noted for its arcade-style action. Cruisin' World scores a 7.7, lauded for its improved graphics and controls over the arcade version. The next page features reviews for 3 Nintendo 64 games: Gex 64, Enter the Gecko, Knife Edge, and Deadly Arts. Gex 64 scores a 7.5, praised for its humor and varied worlds, though noted for occasionally problematic camera angles. Knife Edge, a shooter, receives a 6.7, appreciated for its sci-fi graphics and fast-paced gameplay, but criticized for its limited control. Deadly Arts, a fighting game, gets a 6.8, commended for its custom character option, but marked down for unoriginal sound and confusing controls. The page also includes evaluator details, rating criteria, and age rating information. This page covers a range of topics, beginning with Packwatch, an inside source for Nintendo news. The main headline announces, USA invaded by Pokémon, humorously stating Nintendo takes the blame. The article discusses sightings of strange creatures in Topeka, Kansas, and other urban locations, identifying them as precursors to a Pokémon invasion in North America. Additionally, the page features an article titled, No More Mr. Nice Madden, focusing on Madden NFL 99 for the N64, highlighting improvements and new features. The review praises its play selection, controls, and the use of the Rumble Pack. Mentioned are modes such as Franchise Mode and Practice Mode. The article boasts that, this year, it really is in the game. On the left-hand side of the page are smaller sections dedicated to games like NHL 99, Penny Racers, Extreme Egg 2, and Glover, complete with screenshots and brief descriptions. The next page, still part of Pack Play, offers hands-on previews of upcoming games. First up is Buck Bumble from UBI Soft, described as a captivating N64 game with exploration, aerial battles, and humor. The reviewer played a nearly finished version and found it exceeded expectations. Buck can use 11 weapons, including fusion cannons and guided missiles, to fight alien insects across gardens, forests, houses, and subterranean tunnels. Next is Bowling Gets an Interstellar Boost, covering Milo's Astro Lanes. This N64 title from Crave Entertainment combines bowling with aliens, robots, and humanoids. The game features special items that warp the ball, adding strategy, and lanes with pits and bumps. A multiplayer mode is also highlighted, allowing players to use items to mess up opponents. Lastly, a penny for your tots reviews. FifQ's Penny Racers, described as cute and fun. It features cartoonish graphics and toyish cars, based on the Penny Racer line of mini-vehicles. The racing takes place at a slower pace, making it ideal for younger players, and includes a track editor. The article closes with the quip, "It makes sense for the N64." Additionally, on the lower left corner is a review of EA Sports' NHL 99 on the N64, praising its realistic feel thanks to insights from coach Mark Crawford and realistic ESPN commentary. Features include analog control, 27 NHL arenas, Rumble Pack support, international teams, and various game modes. The reviewer expresses anticipation for its November release. This page provides a behind-the-scenes look at Acclaim, highlighting its success with games like Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. The article emphasizes Acclaim's Super Studio system, where 5 development studios in Texas, Utah, New York, and England collaborate and share technology. Gregory Fischbach, co-chairman and president of Acclaim Entertainment, is quoted discussing the benefits of this structure. The article also discusses Extreme Egg 2, with the Probe's development team working on making the game faster and more user-friendly by widening tracks, and features improved graphics, new bikes and weapons, and better play control. The studios also share code, tools, and knowledge, and the games are tested by other studios to provide critical feedback. The article ends by crediting Acclaim's expert management for its recent successes and anticipating more successful games in the future, like Iguana Entertainment's Turok 2. The next page of Nintendo Power features Pack Peaks, highlighting upcoming 64 games. It covers Rogue Squadron, promising intense fighter action with impressive graphics and sound, and a couple of screenshots of the game. The page also previews Glover, a quirky game by Hasbro, interactive about a glove that comes to life, and Top Gear Overdrive with its beautifully rendered road courses, and Montezuma's Return, an Indiana Jones-style adventure game. The Coming Soon section lists more N64 games, like Micro Machines V3, and includes screenshots of WCW NWO Revenge, Extreme Egg 2, Micro Machines V3, Tonic Trouble, and Fighting Force, and Battle Tanks. News Wrap-Up mentions Capcom's Magical Tetris Challenge featuring Mickey, and GameTech's Robotech being cancelled, plus Crave Entertainment's upcoming 64 and Game Boy titles. Finally, there's a release forecast, with a list of N64 games and their expected release timeframes, with games like Airboarding USA, Blitz, Body Harvest, and many more, all slated for Fall '98. The next page focuses on upcoming games, starting with Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, which promises a new weapon arsenal and deadly dinosaur armies. There's also coverage of NFL Quarterback Club 99 and Madden NFL 99, comparing the games and discussing which one is better for the N64, and a screenshot of the game. Finally, WCW NWO Revenge is highlighted, teasing a sequel with the stars of WCW and NWO seeking revenge. The page also promotes Knife Edge. You've been chosen as the nose gunner to hope that homing missiles, Vulcan cannons, and plasma torpedoes are enough to defeat the alien slime on Mars. The game is developed by Kemco for the Nintendo 64. There is also a long list of all the games available on the N64 and SNES and Game Boy in small writing.